Hey guys, it's Jeff. So coming up in this video, I'm going to be discussing the events that are occurring in Georgia and why it matters to every gun owner in the United States of America. Coming up after this. Hey guys, I'm back. So you've probably been paying attention. The elections of 2020 are over. We potentially have a new president. It hasn't been certified yet. It is the day before Thanksgiving in 2020. And it looks like the Biden campaign has won the election. Trump's already started to concede that he's going to allow the transition plan to go into effect. So it's starting to look like that Trump is starting to see the writing on the wall and the election is going to be considered over. Biden is going to be taking over the presidency. It looks like the Dems were able to maintain control of the House. And the big fight that we see, the last remaining holdout, is the fight for the Senate race that's going on in Georgia. Now, if you're not familiar with what's going on in Georgia, if you don't get 50% of the vote, then you automatically get set up for a runoff. The runoff in Georgia is happening in January 5th. Now, both senators that are seated in Georgia right now had a very narrow margin of victory in their elections. And it is possible in the Senate we would have an even 50-50 split, and then we would have a Democrat in the executive branch. Now, that doesn't sound too terrible until you start hearing about some of the legislation that Joe Biden has already proposed on his website. So if you're not familiar with some of the stuff that's on his website, I'm going to give you some of the top items that I was able to check out. I really encourage you to go check it out. And if you're not involved yet, man, this could be the fight of our lifetimes when it comes to Democrats taking control of the House, Senate, and the executive branch, because the gun control policies that Joe Biden is going to put into effect are going to make the Brady ban look like love fest of firearms. Georgia runoff, it's highly critical that Republican senators retain power in Georgia, because if they don't, we're going to have a 50-50 tie, and all ties are broken by the vice president, who in this case is going to be Kamala Harris. And we've already seen, an emboldened ATF. They're going after these things. So an emboldened ATF under a Biden administration with the Democrats backed in Congress, man, this is really going to be tough for gun owners. One of the things that Biden's going to lobby for when he gets into office is the repeal of the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's the protection that prevents someone who uses a firearm for whatever scenario, whether it be lawful or criminal, protects the manufacturers of the firearm from being held liable for how the item is used, right? So it's just common sense, but Democrats have seen an opportunity. If they can sue these companies out of existence, then they can win on the Second Amendment grounds, because if nobody's making guns, then it's harder for people to have access to guns, right? It's just common sense. Anyway, another one that they're talking about is remove personal sales of all firearms. What they want to do is they want to repeal the ability for all private sales. You'll have to go to an FFL to do any kind of transfer of firearms. So there's going to be a documented record. They also want to expand the NFA. So they want you to register all semi-automatics. They want you to register all magazines. They want to expand the powers and the scope of the NFA. That creates a gun registry, eliminates the ability for anybody who wants to sell a firearm or hand a firearm to a family member for whatever reason. It removes all of that. You have no legal recourse there. You'll have to go do an FFL transfer. You'll have to pay a fee, and they're going to expand the powers of the NICS system. So in the NICS system, the way it stands right now is after 3 days, if there's no reason for a flag on the NICS, they allow the dealer to release the firearm to the requester. They're going to expand the NICS system so that they can hold that firearm even longer. They want to bring back red flag laws. They're going to start to incentivize the red flag laws for the states again. So they're going to turn the states into whores and start bribing them with federal funds. It's one of those incentivized programs where they're just continuously making it harder and harder. They don't want to use federal police, but they have no problem using local police to come and do no-knock warrants on your home to take away your guns if they feel that in a private session, in a private hearing, they've decided you're no longer eligible to own a firearm, so they can come and use force to take those firearms from you. We've seen how those work out. We know that those are a bad idea, but they're trying to continue to incentivize that because they don't care. They want to incentivize removal of constitutional carry. So in those states that have been successful in their local legislations, local jurisdictions, to pass a constitutional carry where you don't have to beg your master to carry a firearm, they're going to put in a requirement, or going to bribe the states to put back in requirements where everybody has to get a license to carry again. Let's see what else. Oh, another good one. They're going to create criminal and civil penalties for anybody who gives access or creates the opportunity for a child to access a firearm. So if I give this to my 16-year-old son so he can go shoot it, and somebody sees him and reports him, you know, whether he's on my property or he's at a friend's property and they're shooting a firearm, if it gets reported, I've given him access to this firearm, I can now be held criminally and civilly responsible because he's had access. Now, what defines access? Access to the layman means he knows the combination to the safe. He knows where the key is to the lockbox. He knows how to assemble a firearm, so if I'm not at home and he needs to access a firearm for his own personal protection, I have given him access to that firearm. I mean, these broad-ranging policies around some of this language are very concerning. Oh, and then the requirement, the legal liability requirement, that if you have a firearm that is stolen, whether it be from your vehicle or from your home, and you have then the legal obligation to report that firearm as stolen. Again, 100% accountability and tracing for all firearms. That's what they're after. They want to know what every gun is, where it is, so when they continue to pass further legislation in future administrations, they'll have a documented trail of where the guns are so they can come and get them, or they can throw you in jail. Is it possible? Yeah, I think it really is possible. There's a lot of videos coming out by some of the more known faces on the internet. Most recently, there was a conversation by one of them, and he predicted that none of this will come to existence. And I think that there's a good possibility that all of this could come into existence. I don't think people that watched how Obamacare passed in the House and Senate knew going into that legislative session that the Democrats would use the supermajority powers in such a nefarious way to create a tax on 100% of Americans. Just by being born and alive in the United States, you are now a taxed person. They have no problems considering doing that. And what happens in Georgia could have a massive impact for the Second Amendment for the next couple of years. So please pay attention, get involved if you're not involved already. If you can donate, if you can contribute, if you live in that area, if you live in Georgia, get out the vote. Get your friends out to vote. Spread the word that this is probably one of the biggest fights since the repeal of the Brady ban for the gun owners in America. It's really that big of a deal. So anyway, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you like what I'm doing here, if you like this kind of stuff, this kind of content, throw me a subscription if you haven't subscribed yet. Consider a like button. Throw comments in the comments section. You can check me out on my other social media. Links in the description below. And until next time, guys, take care, stay vigilant, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.